Good afternoon, my name is Jack, and today I'm doing a presentation on freakonomics, a project I did earlier on the semester. What happened to all the criminals? In the 1990s, there was a dramatic fall in crime rates across America, and in this book here, Levitt and Dubner, the two authors, both researched the reasons as to why this may have occurred. In 1973, Roe vs. Wade was passed in court, and abortion was made legal. Now, in this book, before they went into Roe versus Wade, they examined the different reasons as to why crime rates may have dropped in America. And there was number one, innovative policing strategies. Although innovative policing strategy did reduce crime, they examined the crime rates in post-election cities versus non-post-election cities. And in post-election cities, they learned that candidates used to bring in more police officers to make it seem that they have a more police savvy scheme, and they compared those cities to cities where there was no elections, and across the board crime in America dropped in that year. So it's safe to say innovative policing strategies was not a primary reason as to why crime rates had dropped. The next reason then, an increased reliance on prison. Although this did have a positive effect on the crime rates dropping, 4 times as much criminals were behind bars, so that number one, the deterrence that put them away behind bars, and then as well as that, the people were looking at it as a way that it's realistically half and half. There's some people who say I'm not willing to go to jail for this crime, and people who are willing were already in jail for that crime or crimes to that extent. So that's another reason why it did have a small effect, but it's not a primary reason as to why crime rates have dropped. The next reason, changes in the crack market. Crack cocaine is a drug that plagued America in the 1990s, and while crack-related murders have fallen, the totality of crimes to do with crack cocaine only dropped by about 6%, which isn't significant enough to have a substantial effect on the crime rates dropping in America. The next reason, aging across the population. Although this is also considered a contender in the run for as to why crime rates may have fallen, the aging population is too slow a process for it to be considered a feasible one, and the drop in crime rates happened in a much shorter time than would have been allowed by aging of the population. The next reason, tougher gun laws, was another one brought forward by the two authors, and the reason this isn't necessarily a primary contributor to the dropping in crime rates is because only 20% of criminals actually purchase their guns legally, and there's no way of controlling the black market, which is where the majority of those prisoners did buy their guns. Furthermore, a strong economy. This is also one would consider a reason as to why criminals may not want to commit crimes, or why crime rates may have dropped. But you also take into account the fact that not all crimes are done for a monetary incentive. Like there's like a strong economy is going to have very little effect on murders, on rape, maybe on robberies and things like that, but there's absolutely no reason why it would affect anything else. And finally, increased number of police. And this, as with the other one, did not necessarily affect the didn't affect the drop in crime rates, as because although it increased 14% per capita, those police officers were still not capable of preventing those crimes going on throughout the year. So now there's various cases as to why Levitt and Dubner believed that abortion was the reason for the drop in crime rates. Originally, they realised that for those people who were, say, those people born out of wedlock, we'll say, or those people born into poor houses, those are usually the mothers who are looking for abortion, and because of that, if you're born to poverty, or if you're born to a single parent household, you're much more likely to be committing crimes in later life, and that's probably one of the reasons why the case for abortion is so strong. Another reason, prior to this, there were 5 states that did legalise abortion, and it was seen clearly that crime rates dropped crime rates dropped substantially in those states in the years following abortion being legalised. Moreover, Levin Dubner also noticed that in states like this, in states that legalized abortion, those that were committing the crimes, those that were not committing the crimes, it was more of a in the post-Roe time frame, as opposed to older criminals that were committing those crimes. And so, and finally, in countries with high abortion levels, high abortion levels where it has been legalized, they've seen, once again quite clearly, as with the States, in America, they've seen crime levels dropping significantly, and this was seen in Eastern European countries such as Scandinavia, and also in reverse in the Romanian state under Nicolae Ceausescu. Economic concepts. Yeah, there are various economic concepts to be seen throughout this chapter in freakonomics. The first one is trade-offs. An economic trade-off is if you want to do one thing, you have to give up something else. And in this book, say abortion, when we're legalizing abortion, we're killing off any chances of those babies being born, those babies who are born into single parent households, those mothers who are born with children who they won't want. We are removing the chances that they're going to become criminals, but there's also, however slight, a chance that those are going to come up to become people who influence the world leaders, cures for cancer, various things like this. And it's just impossible to know what we're missing out on, and because of that, morals come into question. Is abortion murder? Is it not? And various things like that. A next economic concept to be seen in this project is incentives matter. Incentives is making a decision while weighing in the costs versus the benefits. More than likely, in America during the drug epidemic, you were more likely to die on the streets than on death row, and because of that, drug dealers were criminals, young men even were weighing up the incentives, and they thought themselves, it's not exactly the nicest life, but it's worth our while dealing drugs in the streets. It's easier. It's a glamorous lifestyle, as seen in Levitt's examination of the freakonomics of crack dealing. Yeah. In the conclusion, the legalization of abortion does result in a drop in crime rates, but it may not always be as black and white as that sounds. When we do, if we were to legalize abortion, it's going to drop crime rates. But what else? What? There's more to it than that. What else are we missing out on? We're missing out on the potential for world leaders. We're missing out on the potential for doctors, influencers of the world. We simply don't know, and there's no way of dictating that. There's no way of organising that, and we're just taking a big risk there, really. And thank you for listening. That's it. Thank you.